Well, let's take a look at Nancy Pelosi. Boy, that's a scary thought, isn't it? Let's take a look at what she had to say about Ben Carson being nominated to head the Housing and Urban Development, what do you call it? A department, I guess. She said, according to Breitbart, that the decision was disconcerting and disturbingly unqualified choice, quote unquote. My humble opinion is Ben Carson would be choice number 2. Choice number 1, if I had to pick, would be to close down HUD altogether and choose nobody. But that's obviously not going to happen. All right. Pelosi said the country deserves somebody with relevant experience to protect the rights of homeowners and renters. So we are using basically shallow, empty terms to try to make a point that she's unhappy. Were she honest, she would simply say this: I don't like Ben Carson because I'm a liberal Democrat and he's not. That would be honesty. But, if they're Democrats, they're not going to be honest. If Democrats were honest, they'd never get elected. So disconcerting and disturbingly unqualified. We have to ask ourselves this question. If you're going to make that kind of a statement, what qualifies one to head the Housing and Urban Development Department? What qualifications do you need to do that? And once you identify those qualifications, then you can explain why this person is unqualified. But she did not do that, nor will she ever. Then she talks about relevant experience to protect the rights of homeowners. What experience is needed? The man grew up in Detroit. For crying out loud, he knows what it's like to live in an urban environment. He actually experienced it. He didn't go to Harvard just to learn about some left-wing lunatic professor's theories of Marxism. This guy actually experienced it. In her statement released Monday, she said, there is no evidence that Dr. Carson brings the necessary credentials, there's that word credentials, to hold the position with such immense responsibilities and impact on families and communities across America. What are the credentials necessary to head up HUD? She does not know. She doesn't say anything about that. She just says he doesn't have them. And I don't argue with the fact that people need credentials. I'm just frustrated by the fact that she's saying he doesn't have credentials and she doesn't seem to know what they are. Let's use this analogy. Let's say that you are getting on board a 747 or some other jet airliner, passenger jet, and you're going to take a trip to California. Now, if you live in California, this is probably not going to make a lot of sense. Okay, so you're getting on board a jet airliner, passenger jet, to California. And as you're getting on board, you happen to notice that the pilot is a teenager. a kid like 13, 14, maybe 15 years old at the most. That's disturbing. And then you look at the cockpit and you see the flight crew are all kids. In fact, come to think of it, even the, what do you call them, the stewardesses. I'm not sure they still call them stewardesses. I think they call them something else. That's more politically correct, more gender neutral. So you get on the airliner, you see the pilot is a teenager, the flight crew are kids, everyone on board are kids, and you say, I want off this airplane. So you turn around to get off, but the door's shut, and they will not open it, so you're kind of stuck. You don't feel real comfortable, do you? Because the wrong people are in charge. Well, here's the good news. Chances are the plane's never going to get off the ground, so you're not going to crash. Now, you may be stuck in the plane and starve to death, but at least you're not going to crash. All right, with that analogy in mind, I want you to take a look in the White House and take a look at the goofball who has been president for 8 years. The guy who is, in effect, the pilot of the jet airliner. No wonder America has never got off the ground. It's done nothing. But if anything, it's gone backwards. It's become more miserable. We have seen that the gross national product has not gone over 3% in 10 years. First time in American history that's happened, at least since they've been keeping records. Why is that? Because the guy who's the pilot of the ship, the airliner, doesn't know what he's doing. It's like we're being run by a bunch of kids. But Nancy Pelosi didn't seem to be bothered by that. The fact that we have some goofball from Chicago who had virtually no experience other than being a junior senator and had the most liberal record of, I think he had the most liberal record of all the U.S. senators. I could be wrong. It could be that one or two were ahead of him, but I think he had the most liberal voting record of any United States senator at the time that Barack Obama was elected. But nobody complained. Well, I did, but nobody on the left complained about him being put in charge. But Ben Carson, they've got a gripe about this. All right, we want to know what you have to think about it. Do you think HUD should be closed down? I think it should be closed down once and for all. Now, keep this in mind before I close. Recall that it was Barack Obama and the head of Housing and Urban Development that said that they were going to force integrate the entire nation right down to the zip code. And any area that didn't comply with their quotas would lose federal funding. Then along comes Donald Trump, and he suggests that cities that are sanctuary cities for illegal aliens who are criminals would lose their federal funding, and everyone throws a hissy fit. Strange. Anyhow, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I don't care. Either way, you're communicating to YouTube that people are interacting with our channel. That's always a good thing. We always prefer thumbs up. They look a whole lot better. See a bunch of little thumbs sticking up there than little thumbs sticking down. So tell us what you think. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video on social media. Underneath the video, you see a little icon that says share. That's there so you can share it on Facebook and Twitter, so forth. If you are not yet a subscriber to this channel, in the lower right-hand corner, there is a button that says subscribe for that express purpose. Click on that button, and almost instantly, you can become a subscriber. You know, the other day we were talking about the fact that Chicago was effectively, the black neighborhood in Chicago was effectively an African village full of village idiots plopped down in the middle of the city, but every African village has a village genius. Not everyone, but you know, like in Europe, the villages have a village idiot. Well, in Africa, they're all idiots, but they have a village genius. Well, Ben Carson is one of the village geniuses. And fortunately, he's not only a highly intelligent person, but he is also philosophically he's got his head screwed on correctly. So, all right, let's go to the outro. But again, if you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button.
Click the red button to subscribe.